right, good morning, good afternoon, good day, everybody. Welcome to day 2 of the IoT World Manufacturing and Supply Chain Days. Before we get into the session, just a quick housekeeping items. By now, you're already familiar with the Zoom tools. For those of you that are new, just make sure you find the Q&A box. That's where you can interact with the speakers throughout the day. I'll be your host, supported here by Greg Orloff on my team, as well as Paul, we'll be monitoring the various social media channels as well. So feel free to leverage the hashtag you see on the screen to give us your feedback. And most importantly, in the Q&A, give us some thought as to what were your key takeaways if you're here yesterday. What did you like about it? And what are some of the actionable things you took away from the session that you could implement into your own organization? So again, make sure you post those things in the Q&A because it has the option to make those anonymous. So as such, you can respect your privacy. We will not be publishing it. Also, we plan to create a blog post with this key takeaways with your feedback. We love crowdsourcing this. We love to hear what you liked about it. So please make sure you use that posting. And as yesterday I've indicated, we also want to put the spotlight on startups. We're going to invite some of you to take the stand and maybe for a minute, just give us a quick overview, your elevator pitch of your startup and how you're helping manufacturing. So those are the things that we want to cover in this next 10 minutes that we have available. I won't bore you with reminders about the events. You will find them on our site that you see there listed, all of the industry events in 2023. So with that, perhaps again, feel free to post in the Q&A what you like. That's number one. And while you're thinking about it, I'd like to invite from the audience, maybe 1 or 2 startups to introduce them. So we're going to promote you to the panelists. If you'd like to do that, just raise your hand and we'll do that. With that, I'm gonna turn it over to Greg. Welcome. Can you hear us?
I hear you just fine. It's coming through loud and clear, Lucian. So good morning, everyone. It's fantastic to see everybody here bright and early again, at least bright and early here in the US. So looking forward to seeing you enter some comments and jumping in front of the camera. This is, for all you startups out there, whether you're capitalized, independently or behind the scenes, this is your opportunity. Think of this as a pitch. Where's your 30-second elevator pitch? Get out there. You got an opportunity to get in front of hundreds, if not thousands of folks this morning and just tell us what you do and how you're impacting the world. Thank you, Greg.
And all right, we'd like to invite the first startup. So Teher, welcome. You are on mute right now, but if you unmute yourself, go ahead and give us your elevator pitch. What are you doing in a space of manufacturing and industrial IoT? You've got 40 seconds to give us your elevator pitch.
Sure. Thank you, Lucian, for the opportunity. So, our company is Sentinel. We're a smart maintenance software that's building to bring together the currently disparate parts of Maintenance 4.0 under a single unified workflow and platform. So, what we see as the problem within Maintenance 4.0 is that there's a lot of different softwares out there, a lot of new technologies that have come out. And because of that, manufacturers are, in the mid-sized markets having difficulty understanding where to start. And then, at the enterprise level, understanding how to scale this. And this is something we've seen across the industry. And what we see as a solution is a single platform that can merge predictive maintenance, industrial IoT and remote monitoring, augmented reality, and, really the smartest kind of CMMS backbone to bring it all together to, prevent downtime and really improve the ability to diagnose problems. And, the most important thing to us really, and something that was talked about yesterday as well, is change management. How can we really make sure this system is sticky and works well within these factories? And we think the way to do that is really to be the technician's friend, be really helpful, automate their processes and make sure that they enjoy using the software. And that's something we've seen as a whole in the industry so far and somewhere that we want to innovate.
Great, thank you, Tahir. Maybe just one point, since there are several hundreds platforms, they are all chipping away the established players in industrial automation and solving problems in manufacturing, which seem to have been stagnant for several decades. Now there are options like your startup. How is it different than the rest of them, maybe?
Yeah, so what we've heard a lot, and we've talked to a lot of people, from Krispy Kreme, Lockheed Martin, academic institutions, and the problem has historically been that, well, nobody really uses the large platforms for their maintenance purposes, at least from the technician standpoint, because they're really clunky and they're basically a mashup of a lot of different things. And because of that, if they're not used, then administration doesn't have good data to put in. So this element of change management, like I mentioned, has historically been the biggest problem with these larger softwares, your Maximos, your Predixes, Tririgas, and others. So again, the way that we see to solve that is we need to build tools like our Control Station, our Orion system, that can help to automatically improve the technicians' processes for logging, for maintaining, to really make sure that they actually want to use it. And when we see that, we think we're going to see that J curve and see a lot of usage among our customers.
Got it. Thank you. Appreciate your feedback there. And if you'd like to engage with Tahir, feel free to do so. Make sure you drop your link in the chat options there. If anybody else wants to join the speaker podium, feel free to do so. We'll bring you on. Meanwhile, like I said, just type in the Q&A what exactly. If you attended yesterday, what were your key takeaways from any of the sessions? Again, leverage that Q&A to do so. So I see there are folks from Brazil. I see folks from Romania. Thank you for joining. Just let us know if you participate. I see recognize some of the names. They were there yesterday. If you already have a couple of bullet points there, let us know what you liked about it and from yesterday's session. If you're just joining today, take a look at the agenda. Let us know what you're excited about it.
If you didn't like anything you heard, don't put us to anything. No, in all seriousness, if you got some constructive feedback for us, we take that with open arms as well. So if you saw something that you think we can improve upon, always, give us a shout. Maybe I'll just jump in, Lucian. I think one of the points that kind of transcended all the sessions to me yesterday, and we had some fantastic speakers from startups up through 800-pound gorillas of the world in the industrial IoT sectors, and I think it was nice to see that perspective on start small. A lot of times people want to just implement an MES system, whether it's being pitched from a large organization or a small organization. That's one of those overriding themes that, from my experience, I think carries a lot of weight, is to don't eat that elephant with, one big chunk. Kind of pick a project that's near and dear to your heart and your bottom line, if you will, and go after that. And I saw that coming through in several of the sessions yesterday.
Yeah, thank you, Greg, for bringing it up. I was also excited about a couple of things, particularly in the area of use cases in AI in manufacturing. So we've moved from just being able to connect the various parts of the data into making more use cases, leveraging the data and leveraging AI. And if I were to paraphrase Dr. Peter Diamandis, in 2030, there will be two types of companies: the companies that leverage AI and the company that are bankrupt. So if you're out there in the audience and you engage with the speakers, press and hard, try to make sense. What are some of the actionable things that you can do in your own plant? As this is coming fast, there are a lot of options. So there are things that you may already use, you may not even be aware there is AI built in there. So I like what Luke had kind of pressed. What are the things that you can actually implement in your own plant? And that's sort of, if you can approach it with that perspective, that would be awesome. There are a lot of talented people representing folks, not just from government-sponsored institutes, but there is academia, from the various large players, from small startups as well, from consulting companies. So there's a lot of talent in the house throughout the day. So press them hard, challenge them to answer your question. That's why we do this live. There's a lot of risk doing this live, but it's also a lot of reward for making sure we address the questions. And if we don't get within the time allotted, then we'll make sure we do that via a blog post or social channels there. So I got about a few seconds left. So I'd like to maybe just leave you with a couple of things. Again, if you do post things in a Q&A, we will be, throughout the day, we'll be inviting you to the VIP community. That is an area where we invite the speakers, we invite the active participant. We also put the links into one place. Certainly you have a lot of options to where you're going to be finding those, like you can go on our events, past virtual conferences, and you can still see them, but you still need to log in. There is an easy way to have them all in one place, and it's a very restrictive community. We have, like I said, charge. We waive the charge for those active participants. We're also going to be picking up a startup today as well to sort of spotlight in our CXO insights. So with that, I'm going to switch over to the other sessions. So in a couple of minutes, we'll be getting started our program for today. I'd like to thank you for joining this early morning. Look forward to engage with you throughout the day.